CJ Peterson, and welcome to The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. Today, my guest is Karen Ford, and we're talking about her passion, which we titled our podcast, Budget is Not a Four-Letter Word. So thank you for coming on today, Karen.
Hey, thank you for having me, CJ. I appreciate it.
A lot of people do shy away from money matters, and budgets make them cringe because they feel constricted. How did this particular thing become a passion for you? Because it is a unique one.
I tell you what, I'm glad that you asked that because actually my history is I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse,
Okay.
but I haven't worked or practiced as a registered nurse for about 10 years.
Mhm.
And the reason is because I got moved over into some money related arenas. I had a friend of mine tell me, wow, Karen, you're really great with numbers. You're really great with money. I think you ought to get some more training because you're good at it. And I didn't really see that about myself, to be honest. I mean, I thought, well, I'm budget pretty well, but I never saw that gifting within myself. So I think sometimes people have
And
natural gifts.
it is
And
actually a gift. My husband has it.
oh,
And
it's a gift.
he's
It
like a
absolutely
Midas
is.
touch when it comes to money. And so I like, and I suck at math. I'm going to honestly tell you right now, I suck at it. I took accounting in high school, and it's like that renegade penny got me every single time, and I couldn't find it. It honestly gives me a headache. So I give you tons of credit. I also have a niece who's a CPA. So
Oh, wow. But
it's in
yeah,
the family, but not mine. Not my gene.
yeah, I got more training and I thought, oh my gosh, I really love this. I love to see people win. And as a nurse, that's my background. I love to help people. So it was natural for me, although people look at that and think, wow, how can you be a financial coach when you were a nurse? How does that even work? The heart is that I love to help people. And I love to help people. As a nurse, I help people get healthy physically. As a financial coach, I help people get healthy financially. And
Well,
so,
and actually, when you think about it, the two actually do connect a little bit more than you think, because
yeah.
financial matters weigh heavily on the body, and it causes stress
Oh
in
my
the body,
gosh,
causes a lot of issues. So
it's
when
true.
you're helping them with the financial issues, you're helping them get the stress off the body. So you are actually still helping them with their health at the same time.
That's so true because so many people have stress today with
Mhm.
money. And so I,
Especially now with COVID, all
oh my gosh.
those people that are on unemployment, or the unemployment has run out, and what are they going to do now? And they've got families, they've got houses, they've got vehicles, they've got stuff.
Right. That's where I come in and that's where I can help. Sometimes people, when they're in a situation, they don't see their way out. It's almost like a person has been dropped in a hole or a cave and it's completely dark and they have no way or have any idea how to get out. But I come in and I shine a big spotlight so that they can see, oh, okay, this is how I get out of this. Or, oh, okay, this is how I get out of debt. Or, oh, okay, this is how I build wealth. I shine the spotlight. And many times it's obvious to me what it is they need to do, but it's not obvious to them because when you're in the middle of a predicament, when you're in the middle of a stressful situation, you can't see anything but the problem.
Mhm.
And so I see the problem, but I'm emotionally detached from the situation. When people are emotionally stressed, they just don't see the answer. And so I kind of shine the spotlight and help them discover what the answer is. And
Yeah,
that's my passion.
probably part of that comes from your nurse training as well, because you had to separate yourself emotionally from being able to help your patients and your clients.
That's so true. And even as a nurse, you're cajoling, you're sensitive, you're comforting. But at the same time, sometimes as a nurse, it's tough love. Okay, I know you just had surgery 2 days ago, but you haven't gotten up out of that bed yet.
You gotta move.
Time to get up. And so when I talk to people about finances, I'll be comforting, I'll be gentle, I'll be compassionate, but then I'm going to say, okay, now this is what you have to do, even though you don't want to. Just like you just had surgery, you don't want to get out of the bed, but you have to because this is how it's going to process in your body and you're going to get better. Same way with finances. This is what you have to do to get out of the predicament you're in. You're not going to like it. It's not going to feel comfortable. You're not going to want to do it, but do it anyway. And it's going to help you in the long run.
Well, when usually along somebody's journey, there's something that makes them take a 180 turn.
Yes.
You've kind of taken us on the longboat turn of this is the path I took. Was there one moment, 2 moments, 5 moments? What was the one thing that made you make the switch? Because going from a full-time nurse to all of a sudden financial advisor, they are connected, like we've talked about.
Yes.
But what was the one thing that switched?
I think the one thing that really switched in my brain is the fact that, yes, I see people or saw people with health issues,
Mhm,
but I saw a lot more people with financial issues. I
mhm.
mean, it was almost like they were staring me in the face. And I thought, oh my gosh, they don't even have any teaching in the education system anymore. I mean, I'm 58, so I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm not old, okay?
I'm with you. I'm 48. I'm with you. I got
Hey, right
it's
here.
okay.
So when I was in school, they taught us how to balance a checkbook.
Mhm.
They taught us how to budget.
They
We
taught us
had
accounting,
home
that
economics.
renegade penny.
You were taught how to sew,
Mhm.
how to create that home budget. They don't teach that today. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if the kids don't get this in the school system, and no, no condemnation to any parent, but a lot of times moms and dads both are working. They
Mhm.
come home, they're tired, they don't want to take the time. I completely understand that. But
Or they have the same mindset that we do, that it actually is being done in school, and it's actually not.
and they don't take the time, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is like a volcano being ready to erupt.
Yeah. And then the kids go off to college, and anybody who's been to college is fully aware how many different credit card applications that you are suddenly hit with when
Oh
you're
my
a college
gosh.
student. And these kids who don't know how to budget money, they don't know what it means to have a credit card or credit, are suddenly, faced with, hey, free money. They don't realize that, you know what, you got to pay that back.
Right. It's really a shame. It's a travesty, really, because when they go on college campuses, the credit card companies are like, no offense, but they're like vultures.
No, they
Why?
are.
Because they know that somehow they're going to get money out of that person. And if they don't get it out of that person, then the parents are going to have to help bail them out. One way or another, they're going to get their money.
Yeah.
And that's really a shame. It really is.
So you took that passion that we talked about,
Yes.
passion for people, passion for life, passion for health, and a passion for financial health. And you wrote multiple books about them. And you also have a lot of other things that are in there on your website. Can you tell us, A, how to find you online, and B, what are they going to find when they get there?
Oh my goodness. Well, where they can find me online, all my books are on Amazon, but my website is karenford.org. They're going to find the 4 books that I have written. They're going to find scripture memory verses, because the best place that you can ever learn about money and money managing is the Bible, to be honest with you.
Lots
Another
of
thing
Proverbs for sure.
Absolutely. Proverbs is jam-packed full.
Mhm,
They're also going to find some messages that I've done on money.
mhm.
They're going to learn that, yeah, God really does want you to have money, because if you think about it, if you only have enough for you and your family, then you don't have any extra to help anybody around about you. And God is all about us helping people around us, because that shows them, hey, God really cares about me.
That, and he's also against borrowing money, because never, a lender or a borrower be, because then you are a slave to the lender.
That's exactly right. He wants us to have wealth, not just so that we can enjoy it, but so that we can help people around us, and so that we don't have the debt, because he knows that debt creates stress.
Mhm. Which
So
is
those
not
are the
good for
things.
your body.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So they're going to find a chock full of information on that website. So
So what books do you have out? You mentioned there were 4 of them.
yes, the very first book that I ever wrote, and you'll figure out it was the first book because the title was way too long. It's called 31 Days to a Greater Understanding of Money.
Well,
Now
that's a
that
long
is
title.
a
That is a
long
mouthful.
title, but it's a 31-day devotional. And
Mhm.
I thought, well, for a first book, a devotional, I think might be the easiest thing to do. And I
Oh,
was all about easy. So I did a devotional.
I
The
don't know about
second,
easy. That's actually not exactly easy. Well,
well,
from
it was
a
easier
Christian fiction author, it's not exactly an easy thing to sometimes make
than
things apply
Right.
Especially on the or the Journey to Fruitfulness blog, I take
Yeah,
the lessons that we learn in our farming, whether they're good, bad, and ugly,
that's
and
exactly
I
right.
apply them spiritually to our spiritual walk.
That's
Um,
all.
but when you're making a devotional, that's a whole other animal.
It is. It is a different animal, but that's the first one I wrote. The second one is Money Matters. And the reason I entitled that book, Money Matters, is for two reasons. First of all, money matters
Mhm.
because you have to have money to live. The second reason I entitled it, because that book encapsulates the matters regarding money, from budgeting, demolishing debt, how you think actually can affect how you think and what you say about money, because words become, thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, and you're going to end up walking out exactly what you're thinking if you let it come out of your mouth. So it is important what you think. And then also a chapter on building wealth. How do you build wealth? What areas can you do that in? The third book is a little mini book, great stocking stuffer called Money Nuggets.
Oh,
And,
cute.
huh?
I said that sounds cute.
Yeah, money nuggets. I like it too. And then the fourth one is you can do it. I'm an avid real estate investor. I'm a house flipper. I'm a buyer. I buy foreclosures. I buy houses at auction. I not only flip, but I also, rent as well. So that book, if you've never delved or dived into real estate as an investment, that gives you a great read on how to do it and what to do and what not to do. So those
Good,
are the books.
good deal. So we talked about it, but you never quite hit it. What your turning point was? You're still kind of grazing over that. Can we jump
Oh,
down?
I did.
What,
Sure.
what was your turning point? Because we kind of bounced over that.
Well, the very first person that I ran into was a couple,
Mhm.
and was talking to them about money. And long story short, neither one of them knew, and they're married. Okay, neither one of them knew what kind of financial situation they were both in. When I was talking to them, they had about 30 credit cards between the two of them that
Holy
they
cow.
knew. But then the discovery was she had some credit cards that he didn't know about. He had some credit cards she didn't know about. And when it was all said and done, they had 84 credit cards between the two of them. And every one of those cards had a balance. And
How
I
did
thought,
they find you though? I mean, at
well, we go
that
to church
point, had you
together.
already started doing the financial stuff?
I had already started doing the financial stuff, but I was still practicing, in another field. And as soon as I sat down with them, I thought, oh God, this is my turning point right here.
Okay.
Because, money problems can cause a great deal of stress, but a great deal of stress in a marriage. And unfortunately, the divorce rate in the church is the same outside of the church. 51% of marriages end up in divorce. And the number one cause of divorce in America is money fights,
Mhm.
money. It all revolves around
That
money.
it sounds like they had a lot of secrets. I
They
mean,
had a lot of secrets, and that means they had a lot of marriage problems.
mhm.
So it's when you get it all out in the open and deal with it, because you're not going to deal with it unless you know about it, right? So it's when you have that day of discovery and really open those lines of communication. And that was a real turning point for me. I thought, I can't be a nurse anymore. I got to help people get their situation and lined up with their money,
Yeah,
especially today,
yeah,
especially
I
today.
can imagine when you're doing this that the energy that you feel when the light bulbs start going off and when they start to get out of debt and when they come and sit in your office and go, guess what, guess what, guess what? We got double
Oh,
credit card. I
I
mean,
tell you what, when people come back and they say, this is what I did, or this is what I did, look what I'm doing. Oh, I just celebrate with them, because anytime, a celebration of achievement creates momentum. So when they get one credit card paid off, now they have built the momentum. Oh my gosh, I can actually do this. I'm going to stay on track and continue. That is such a win for me, to see them elated, excited, and know that they can actually do it. Because a lot of times people that are in debt, they don't see their way out. They don't see actually that they can do it. And so when I give them the tools in their hand and tell them this is what you do, this is how you do it, and continue that, and then they win with that, oh, that is such an excitement for me. Such an excitement for me.
That's kind of
Oh,
like planting your seeds and watching your vegetables grow and being
that's
able to pick
exactly
it and put it in a salad or something.
there was a one guy that I coached. He was young. He was 24, 25 years old, and he had a good job and made good money. But I thought, man, why don't you have more money saved? I just couldn't put my finger on it. And I just had an aha moment. And I looked at him, I said, do you drink coffee? And he said, yeah. And I said, I thought, oh boy,
Starbucks.
this is where I got it. And I said, okay, do you make your coffee at home or what? And he said, no. And I said, aha. I
Starbucks.
said, okay, now we're on a roll. I said, where do you get your coffee? And he said, he drove through this particular coffee shop. I said, how often? He said, every day on my way to work. I said, how much does it cost you? So I figured it up. He spent anywhere between $250 and $350 a month on
A
coffee. But
month
here's
on
the
coffee.
thing. He did not know he was spending that much because he kept using a debit card. He didn't realize how much he was spending. And so when I showed him the figure, I saw it was like a deer in a headlight moment. His eyes got huge. He had no idea. And I said, do you want to adjust that or anything? Because we'd rather adjust and change. So I
Mhm.
said, do you want to adjust that? And he said, yeah. I said, what do you want to do? And he said that he was going to buy a coffee pot. He was going to make coffee at home, but he was still going to get that cup of specialty coffee every Friday on his way to work. So he was
Fair
still
enough.
getting a reward, but not spending all that money.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
people don't understand the nickel and diming. And when you're using a debit card or a credit card, you're not always able to physically see the money leaving your hands. So it doesn't
right.
always register. But especially when it comes to nickel and diming, like McDonald's or In and Out or
Right.
Chick-fil-A or all the way up the chain. And it's like when you continue to do that and it becomes a habit
Yeah,
versus something that's just a once in a while treat,
that's right.
that's when you start to really, when you start looking through your credit card statement, you're like, oh, crud, and start highlighting exactly where they are. You're going to
Right.
realize just how much you could actually save by doing it at home.
Right. A lot of people don't realize how much they spend on food every month. I had a couple one time they had no idea, actually. They didn't do any food planning. They didn't make a list for the grocery store. They went to the grocery store every 2 or 3 days. They ate out, once or twice a week. They ate in the cafeteria at the workplace. This is a small family, husband, wife, 3-year-old. Okay. $1,500 a month
In food?
on food, on food. And they didn't know because they never had a budget, they never had a plan. And so I gave them tools. Look, make a grocery list. Go to the grocery store once a week, do a meal planner. Listen, we don't have to have a different meal 30 days a month. Make a meal plan for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and every 2 or 3 weeks, you do the same meal plan. Who cares? You know what I mean? I mean, do we really have such a passion for food that, we have to spend $1,500 a month on food? And they decided they were going to go out to eat once a month
Mhm.
instead of once or twice a week. And so it worked for them. But again, they had no idea how much they were spending because they didn't have a plan, they didn't have a budget, they used a debit card or a credit card, so it was mindless.
Mhm.
And so they changed their ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's another gentleman, Dave Ramsey, who
Oh
also does
yeah.
a lot of the
Love,
budgeting
love,
stuff.
love him.
I do too. Uh, but one thing he does is he says, you tell your money where to go. Don't let your money tell you where to go. And the other thing I really like about his budgets, which it sounds like you allow that in there as well, is
Yes.
blow money.
Yes.
Allow yourself like $20 blow money from each check to do with it what you want.
That's
But
right.
make sure to account for gasoline and travel, and if you take clients out to meals or date night or whatever it looks like. But make
That's
sure to leave yourself some blow money. A budget doesn't have to be like this cobra constricting your airflow. you know
that's right.
you're just telling it where to go.
Right. People that actually have their money like a boa constrictor end up one day just blowing up and going on a huge shopping spree. Honestly.
Amazon, click, 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 click.
Yeah. And then, you have to be able to reward yourself. If you're working 40 plus hours a week or 20 plus hours a week, whatever your work is. And yes, ladies or gentlemen, if you're a stay at home mom or stay at home dad, and that is still that is still a job. That is work. The only difference is maybe you're not getting paid for it, but you got to have blow money because you need to have that reward because you're working hard for your money. You can't just pay all the money on bills and save it up. I heard Dave Ramsey say one time, opposites attract. There's a saver and a spender. So if you're a spender, you're probably, attracted or married to a saver. If you're a saver, you're probably attracted or married to a spender. But you need each other
Mhm.
because if you are a spender, right, you need a saver in your life so that when you get ready to retire, you can actually do something when you retire, right? And if you are a
Saver,
spender, is that right? No, I'm
saver.
doing if you're a saver, that's natural. You need to have a spender in your life so you can actually have a life.
Mhm.
Life is not just work, come home and put all the money in the bank. You need to be able to reward yourself.
And you
I'm
need
all
to be
about
able to get to retirement. And if you're working yourself to the bone, that won't happen.
that. That's exactly right.
So Karen, we have about 3 minutes left. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I want to add this. I will have to say it doesn't matter what kind of financial situation you're in. If you feel like you're in over your head, if you see no way out of debt, listen, if you got in debt, you can get out of debt. And I always bring hope to everyone listening or watching. There is hope for your situation no matter what financial situation you are in. There is hope.
Hmm. Awesome. Good words. Karen, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you and appreciate you sharing your heart and your guidance and your steps and your stories.
Thank
Because it
you
kind
so
of
much.
helps people to kind of put it more on a real level. So appreciate that. Anyone wants to know more about Karen Ford and her books and her kind of wisdom regarding finances and the fact that budget is not a four-letter word, you can find her at karenford.org. That's KARENFORD.org. And thank you guys for listening to The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. I'm CJ Peterson of cjpetersonwrites.com. Until next time.